Hey guys, so Sia bringing you another video. Welcome back to the Champions Climb. This is episode 2 featuring Xerath, and again, if you don't know what this series is, the idea of it is basically we spectate a champion throughout the different ranks of League. So the first episode, and you know, we're not going to start at the bottom, because obviously that will be like a lot of mistakes that aren't to do with the champion. But last episode was Silver, and it was a decent Xerath, but there were just some very big fundamental mistakes in that gameplay. Not using the passive was quite a big one, which then forced the player to overbuy mana in the early game, and also never buying sustain. So that was kind of episode 1. Apart from that, not too bad, and they're pretty easy fixes for that player, hopefully, to improve on. This is episode 2, so we're now in low-ish platinum. So a bit of a jump. There's a lot of spam pings, by the way. So the Swain, maybe is a rager. Or actually, a lot of them seem to be raging that the Riven was just not around. Again, fair note, just to say before I get into this player, if a player is AFK, spam pinging, believe it or not, doesn't do anything because they're not there. So please save the player's ears in your game by not spam pinging if someone's AFK, because it really doesn't do anything. But yeah, we're in Platinum 3 right now, so a bit of a jump. But, you know, the kind of point of this series is to see kind of the really small details the higher rating you go. So what I'd expect from this Xerath in Platinum 3, I would expect to buy, you know, sustain. I would expect to use the passive quite effectively. And I also would expect ultimate use to be slightly different. So in the previous episode, in Silver, it was a little bit more, again, it's not always a bad thing, but a little bit more methodical with the ult use and being kind of delayed in between the ults. That is kind of like the more beginner way to use Xerath. The better you get at the champion, if you watch really good Xerath players, they just spam the ult because it gives less reaction time for a person to react to it. But this player is a main of 2 champions, is a Pyke main and a Xerath main, is a Platinum player nearly through and through. So in Season 7, so 4 years ago, I guess, they were in Diamond 4, but in Season 8, Season 9, and Season 10, they only peaked in High Platinum. Right now, they're in Platinum 3 with a 52 roughly % win rate. So pretty much a Platinum 3, maybe Platinum 2 player. We're against an Annie, and the Annie matchup's quite an interesting one. It's why, you know, I had an abundance of different replays to pick from, and this player does have some very good performances, but I didn't want to just show a complete stomp. But the Annie matchup is really interesting. That was a bit of a wild cue. That the fact that an Annie can kill a Xerath. I have no idea why the Annie's got exhaust, I will say that. You know, exhaust range to a Xerath, you're not arguably going to get into exhaust range, or Xerath isn't going to get there unless Annie flashes. But then, you know, if you're going for a flash engage, do you really care about having exhaust? You'd probably want to have that ignite to kind of get through the burst. So it's a little bit odd that Annie's got that. Xerath running barrier, which obviously is the more common summon spell to go on Xerath nowadays. I still do like the teleport, but you have to be very confident to survive in the 1v1 if you are going to go barrier. Sorry, teleport. Meanwhile, first gank of the game. Nice stun by Xerath to deny the gank. Lee Sin was in the area, and I wouldn't be surprised again. Xerath needs to be careful of a return gank. So it was good reaction timing to 1, get the stun on Annie, and 2, obviously make the flash happen. Maybe the Xerath should look to push this very fast with QW and then back off. Get the lane to reset, go back and buy, because, again, Xerath is an immobile mage. So junglers, you get his flash 1 gank, make sure if you're a jungler and there's a Xerath in the game to keep ganking him. He doesn't have an answer a lot of the time to getting ganks. It is one of the weaknesses of this champion. Okay, so the Xerath is a tier player. So there do seem to be a couple of different camps when it comes to Xerath. Some people buy tier, some people don't. I personally wouldn't. I'm very confident to control my mana in a way that I don't think I need tier, and I don't think I need the Archangel item. Like, yeah, it's not bad on Xerath, don't get me wrong, but I can go without it. Meanwhile, Lee Sin doing a nice job at clearing up the play. Will he get the triple kill? Probably not. Actually going for a prediction Q and misses it. But also going for a Dark Seal, by the way. So I normally grant the Dark Seal as a little bit cocky to buy nowadays. But, you know, the item got changed. You know, it used to be a pretty good just lane item. That it increased your, you know, strength of your potions. And good farming, by the way. And he also knows no point to use mana on that one. He's not going to get it. So that's also good control there. Again, a lot of mana use, maybe arguably when he doesn't need to, but so far it's completely fine. But yeah, in essence, like, Darksteel is good on some champions, I would say, even if you're not cocky. And I'd say Xerath is kind of one of them. Why? He's a really high-range mage. High-range mages that know if they're very good at not dying and they can be confident, I'm going to play more passive and back and I'm not going to just die to an Annie or die to ganks or whatever it may be. They can pick up assists or even cheeky kills with his ultimate or his Q or W from long-range distances while also remaining safe. So that's where Darksteel actually isn't what I would call a cocky pick on a Xerath. I think it's a cocky pick that literally, if you look at 90% of Evelynns in solo queue, Darksteel is just part of their build, because a lot of them are cocky that they're going to get fed every game, because they mainly do. But yeah, so Zac coming for another gank. Good ward here by Xerath. Always good to get, like, extended vision. You know, some people will be warding here in the side bushes, and that's not bad. But what does warding up here tell you? It gives you advanced information that the Zac is in this bush. Now, what it doesn't do is tell you, has he left? Like, you know, he's obviously clearly not walked away, but he stayed there the whole time. He actually missed his E. That's quite bad. Good stun use. Zac getting maybe return ganked on. They have to be careful of the Tibbers. Lovely Q by Lee Sin, and Annie actually missed her Tibbers. And there you go. Fast use of Xerath, though. He did miss them, though. But that does show maybe the Xerath is looking for fast use of ultis. And again, a lovely stun. So when his stun has mattered, landing another one here. Will Lee Sin follow up? Maybe not. But when it's mattered, this Xerath has landed 2 really good stuns. So again, good use of his skill shots, because obviously that's clearly what Xerath is as a champion. He's farming well. He got that assist, so he gets a Dark Harvest stack straight away. And like I've mentioned, he is using his passive, so we can compare kind of the 2 different Xeraths from last game to this game. There is clearly a difference of passive use. And just reminding everybody, the Xerath from last game skipped the Doran's Ring. They started tier. And Doran's Ring has a lot of good early strengths to it. I would not skip a Doran's Ring. Again, the Doran's items, Shield, Blade, and Ring, are insanely good items. Very cost efficient in some avenues of their stats. But why, again, you don't want to buy multiple of them if you can help it, or, you know, whatever, because they don't build into anything. That's the end. It's a strong early game item to start the game, and then it doesn't build into anything else. But that's why they're kind of good. But yeah, so no tier start, and obviously the last Xerath bought a tier, and then also another mana crystal because of how much they just didn't control their own mana with, you know, using the passive correctly. This Xerath is using the mana more correctly, so hasn't needed a start tier, for example. So that's good to see. And also worth knowing is that this one is buying sustain. So I think Xerath just based with 1 health potion. He just bought another one. So he is actively buying more health potions, which is something you should be also doing. I would maybe, you know, I don't know how much gold Xerath had. Maybe he had enough. You could argue, oh, he's got 1 health potion. Maybe sell that health potion and buy a refillable potion. In the long run, it will be cost efficient to do that. But obviously, the best case scenario is buying a refillable potion when you've gone back and bought with no health potions, to make complete use of cost effectiveness. But overall, pretty good Xerath, I would say, so far. We will see how his, like, you know, mid-game is. Because every League player, whether you kind of think about it or not, meanwhile, Annie going for a weird roam, Zac's doing Rift and does get it. He might actually engage, misses the first stun, I think, of the game, and will just back off to mid. But yeah, whether you think about it or not, most League of Legends players have strengths and weaknesses even in the periods of the game. There's lane phase, there's more mid-game where it's kind of lane phase and roaming intertwined and a little bit of grouping, and there's also late game. So some players are very strong in lane phase, Huzzy can, and some players are very weak in lane phase, but they're amazing in team fights. Obviously, we'll see if this Xerath has the kind of well-rounded package. So far, I'd say his lane phase has been completely fine. There's nothing stand out about it, but there's also nothing bad about it. It's perfectly fine for a Xerath. Xerath's lane phase is not the strength of the champion. He has an okay lane phase, but you're not picking Xerath for lane phase. You're picking Xerath for the mid to late game harass carrying he can do. And obviously, just that also goes saying, Xerath isn't even great playing or great to play in Season 11. Riot, and I think most people would agree, and even Riot would agree, they have relatively screwed mages this season. If you're wondering why all the strong mid laners, none of them are mages. They're all the AP melee champions or assassins. That is more the meta for mid lane. I think Annie, arguably for a mage, can get away with it maybe more than most, because Annie does have assassin tendencies. She can do like just a one-shot burst engage. Xerath can't. Ziggs can't. Ahri probably can't even do that now. So, yeah. Right, so you're starting to see, by the way, a shift potentially in Xerath's play, that he's obviously farming it up quite well, and he's going for these a couple roams, but they're just not working. She's kind of late to roaming a lot, and that's kind of just making a little bit of a difference in mid. But what I would expect the Xerath to start doing is using the range advantage and starting to actually properly harass the Annie down. Might even go for an ultimate. One to scout. Now you know where Annie is. Honestly, that was a slow ulti. The first ult, because you don't 100% know where Annie is, should be used to scout. And then he should have just spammed the next two back to back, and he probably would have hit it. So again, accuracy with the ultimate so far hasn't been too impressive. So that's just one takeaway we can see. Annie going for a crazy engage. Again, no idea why she's got exhaust. I mentioned that earlier. Exhaust just doesn't do anything for this Annie. Like, I know some people are like, oh, the exhaust is going to slow the player and then Tibbers can get on them more. That's not why you're playing Annie in Season 11. Again, you're playing Annie for the one-shot burst meta that is in the game right now. Exhaust doesn't help you to that. Like, if you're against a Zed, maybe exhaust. Or Yone, maybe exhaust just to survive the 1v1. You're against a Xerath. Exhaust ain't going to help when he's poking you down to a third health before you even get into melee range. And every single time this Annie actually has to try and get to a Xerath, she has to burn flash. So Annie just burnt both exhaust and flash there and ended up dead. And all Xerath had to burn was barrier. So, yeah. Bot lane, though, going pretty damn bad for blue team. I think it is worth saying that obviously the Zac has been there quite a bit. I think most of the deaths, you know, technically 6 deaths in bot lane total has been because Xerath gank. Not Xerath gank, Zac ganks. They get a nice kill in top lane, and I would expect Zac, by the way, in this area. We just saw him gank bot lane. He walked upward after the gank. No vision down here for Xerath, so that's where I would potentially expect Zac to be. So he is scouting it, so that's good. You can see Lulu walking into red jungle, getting vision all in this area. So that would give them increased confidence, maybe, in this part of the map. I think Zac might be here. Yeah, so in the replay file, we actually can see a little bit of things that we're not supposed to. And so there's potentially, right now, 4 people mid. Zac's here, there's 3 people here. So just play passive, don't risk anything. And that would be probably okay. But yeah, you can see big difference in top lane. Riven versus Camille. Technically don't really know who's supposed to win that matchup. Swain's getting caught out again. So Annie engaging. Xerath ulti coming down. Again, pretty slow, but he does end up getting the kill. Zac is doing red. So I imagine that Annie will be a little bit triggered about that. There's Swain walking into the Zac. He's probably going to die. Zac gets the red buff. Xerath making his way over. Ezreal doesn't seem interested. And yeah, top lane. Lee Sin going to try and return a kill. He does get the return. The exhaust comes down. Lee Sin probably will survive that. And Xerath now looking to try and kill the Zac. But yeah, the Ezreal, nowhere to be seen, doing the kind of standard AD carry thing of going, I'm farming. Which arguably the Ezreal may have been able to go over and help with that. But yeah. But yeah, not bad for the Xerath. Again, it is noticeable that this is quite slow ultimates to me. And if any of you watch my own Xerath, and obviously I've not played him for a while, but I'm going to start playing him in my next recording session tomorrow. I'm actually going to play some Xerath, because I mentioned in the first episode, would you guys want the Diamond episode of the Champions Climb to feature me? So I'll watch my own Xerath and be critical of my own Xerath, and a lot of you are like, hell yeah, let's do that. So obviously I need to play some Xerath games, so I'll be doing that tomorrow. And if any of you have watched my Xerath over the last few years, I used to be a slow Xerath ulter. That I used to be more methodical, make sure I was very precise with it. That's not the way of it. You know, for the better you get at Xerath, you just spam it. The less reaction time you can give people, the more likely you're going to kill somebody with your ulti. So when you watch me in the next Champions Climb episode, when I'm going to be playing it tomorrow, I'll be spamming the living hell out of the ult. Just bam, 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 getting all like the ultis off. So yeah. But yeah, Zac, very strong champion, by the way. I think people do underestimate Zac. And meanwhile, Annie gets a kill on the Swain. So that is worth knowing. If you're having a bad game in a lane, top, mid, whatever, you're not clearly going to beat the lane opponent. This Annie's not going to beat the Xerath. One thing you can do is target the weak people in the game. The blue bot lane has done really bad here. They're very weak. So what has Annie done? She's done the smart thing of let Jinx go mid, I'll go bot, and hey, I can actually get myself some strength. I can go kill the really weak people and build myself back up into the game. So that's actually quite smart of what the Annie's done. Whether it be intentional or not, I don't know. Gale Force, being careful, does flash. That was quite close if it needed to be flash or not. again, the mines might have activated and then he could have died. So I don't think it's a bad flash. It would have been quite close, though. But, again, Gale Force, very controversial item. Meanwhile, Zac coming in. Again, good timed by Zac because, oh, bad use of barrier. Nice return kill, though. Lovely. So, again, some people gain too much confidence when they have the jungler nearby. That is a prime example of that. The only thing there was weird barrier use. You can see Xerath's health. He didn't actually take basically any damage while he even popped barrier. So that was a small mistake. But the actual going for the return kill, having the confidence to do that, that's really good. So you can clearly see for a Platinum Xerath, this is, by the way, EU West, he's pretty good. You know, nothing major that would stop this guy from playing based on this game. And obviously everybody will say, oh, you're only watching one game type of thing. Again, looking at this guy's profile, Ezreal's dead again. Looking at this guy's profile, he has some really good performances. I didn't want to just do one of the stomps. So like an hour ago, he actually lost the game. He went 17-5. Game before that, he went 15-2. Like, he has 8-0. He has some really spicy performances. This game, however, as you can probably tell, is going to be a little bit closer. Meanwhile, he gets engaged on by the Camille. Whether they should have gone for that play or not was questionable. But this game's clearly going to be closer, mainly just because of the strength difference on bot lane. Oh, the Swain. And he's probably going to die there too. So it's a bit more of a rough game. The Riven's doing obviously pretty good. The Lee Sin's doing good. The Xerath's doing good. But when you've got a 11 death bot lane at 16 minutes into the game, that's always going to be rough, especially in Season 11. Season 11, top lane is basically irrelevant. Mid lane is more irrelevant than it's probably ever been, unless you're playing one of the AP melees or assassin champions, and neither of them in this game are. But bot lane and jungle are the two kind of biggest elements of the game right now, combined with dragon pressure and stuff. And when you have one bot lane that is really feeding versus a strong bot lane, you're going to struggle. So this game I thought was a good idea to pick because of that. So, by the way, item build, completing the Ludens, with then the large rod. Also, obviously, keeping that Dark Seal. Whether he'll keep it throughout or sell it, we'll see. What I would say myself, obviously, Dark Seal is pretty cost efficient. I think, if I'm not mistaken, around 7 or 8 stacks, it becomes pretty good. If you don't get there by like 20-25 minutes, you know, you're actually in modern day League, you're getting more to mid to late game at 20-25 minutes. If you're not getting up to the higher stacks of Dark Seal to then potentially even move to a Medjai, I would just get rid of that item. Especially if it's like, oh, I can keep this item or I can sell it to actually get a power spike of like a completed item. I'd probably sell it to buy the completed item. Technically, he should be giving that to Lee Sin. So just to say, you know, for the basic reason, some people, I guess, just don't, you know or I guess care. Scuttle Crabs give more gold and maybe even more XP to junglers. Like, just straight up more. So, if you're actually, like, as a team as a whole, if you're caring about, like, the bigger picture, always give it to your jungler because they are actually getting more out of a Scuttle Crab than a mid laner or AD or whatever. Obviously, if you need that just extra 130 gold or whatever it is just to buy the next item, then sure, take it. But, like, there, that was, Lee Sin was literally there. So Annie has used Tibbers to wave clear? That's weird. So exhaust use again. Lee Sin Q. Again, the exhaust didn't really do that much, but Annie will probably just try to walk away. Xerath ulti does get it. There we go. So not the most accurate on the second shot, but hit the shot that counted, which is always nice. And yeah, this Annie, I'm going to say we are in Platinum. The Annie, you know, we're not obviously judging her this game. We're more on the Xerath, but the Annie's a very weird player. You know, Ignite, Exhaust with Flash. Meanwhile, nice barrier use. Will maybe get him. Oh, again, Zac's an absolute monster in modern day League. Lee Sin should get him, though, because he does... Oh, the teleport. Never mind. Oh, Lee Sin, you should have backed away earlier. He probably has got himself killed for doing that. And off he goes. But Riven in the area. Oh, spicy. She's going to get a double kill. Oh, and then the Ezreal ulti. Oh, there you go. That's actually turned out a-okay. But yeah, the Annie, a bit of a weird player for this rating. The summoner use is wrong. Everfrost is probably wrong in modern day League. And Medjai, when you're not actually having a great game, I don't even think she had any Dark Seal stacks, and she's just straight up bought a Medjai. So that's a bit weird. I can probably check. Shall I have a little look into the Annie? Because some people always go, oh, what is the lane opponent? You know, that's important to know as well. So the Annie is a Platinum 3 player also, and is, oh yeah, So it's a jungle main, Nocturne Xin main. Fourth most played champion is Annie, with a 25% win rate. So yeah, not the best Annie. And I will say, it does surprise me, even in Platinum, you get some really odd builds like this, or just like things that you'd think are quite obvious not to do. Buy a Magi when you're not having a great game, or buying a Magi without any Dark Seal stacks. To me, that's pretty like basic League of Legends, but this is just what I've always said to you guys. The average player in League, even in higher ratings, they just play the game a lot of the time on autopilot, and they just have one thing that they've got in their mind. That's what they're going to do. They don't watch any guides. They don't watch streamers or YouTubers. They don't watch pro play. Nothing. They just play the game, and that's it. And that's where a lot of the time they'll get things quite wrong. And they won't know it's wrong. They'll not be corrected on it. They won't think it's bad. They'll have the occasional game that it works, and they're like, oh, no, it works, clearly. So Zach's getting caught. Lovely damage. Again, he's going for an engage because he's just been caught out. But you can see, look at Zach's damage, by the way. He literally just nearly, like, 3-manned by himself. Meanwhile, there's a lot of red team members. Blue team is on their way. This could go pretty damn good for blue team, though, because the enemy team is stuck in their territory. Xerath does have ulti. I would actually ulti right now, personally. I would actually start getting this engage. I think the Riven, weirdly, again, he has ulted. Where's he ulting for? He's, again, a bit slow. Lee Sin Q does get some nice hits, though. Ooh, that was the last one was quite bad. But yeah, again, not bad play overall. They're also going to turn that into Dragon, which is fantastic. So overall, okay. So yeah, that was bad by Zach being caught in the enemy territory like that. You know, yes, Zach is a very strong champion right now. Riot overbuffed him, and that, again, seems to be a relatively big pattern in League nowadays, is that they do an overbuff, and then Riot hate to admit that they did an overbuff. A lot of people are saying the biggest example of that right now is Gwen. They overbuffed Gwen. She's become an absolute monster, and it kind of feels like Riot's refusing to nerf it, because that would be admitting that, oh god, we did make a mistake here. So Zach going for another engage. Again, I don't know what the Zach's doing. I think he might have got a little bit too cocky, if I'm honest. But look at his healing. He did get healed by Jinx as well. Lovely Q into the Lee Sin Q. Boom, 1 kill there. Lee Sin as well. Zach coming in, but they're all flashing in Lulu ulting away. Yeah, the Ezreal seems to be pretty fixated on split pushing. The one thing that this Ezreal's got going for him, as you can see, is farm. So even though they got kind of destroyed in bot lane, again, arguably because Zach was going there a lot, he has actually maintained pretty damn good farm. Obviously, it is worth knowing, is because he's been bot lane most of the game. Even when they were invading here and the Zach was taking red and all of that, the Ezreal just chilled bot lane. So that's why his farm isn't bad. But yeah. So Xerath's completed for the Xerath. So again, that gives 65 ability power, a lot of mana. Obviously, you gain ability power based on how much mana you have, and then your mana is increased also from how much ability power you have. So again, it's not a bad item. I don't think it's needed on Xerath. It's not like it's bad or anything. I just like to get more direct into some of the more spicy items myself. Meanwhile, Ezreal, so Divine Sunder Ezreal, a lot of people right now are saying is a little bit broken. Does end up dead. Maybe he could have actually got that kill if he just didn't stand on Zach a lot. A little bit more kiting, but he got 1 kill. That's not too bad. But yeah, a lot of people also in the patch preview that will be coming next week, that they've already given the preview, a lot of people I've seen have been a bit surprised that Ezreal is not in the to be nerfed list, or at least Divine Sunderer, because there's a lot of champions buying the item now. But yeah. So, the game itself, it's 23 minutes, nearly 24 minutes, slight, blue team gold advantage, red team kill advantage, dragon advantage to blue team also. And that, is jungling a lot of the time. Jungling is the dragon power of League. And the Lee Sin's had a pretty damn good game. The Zach's had one too, but Lee Sin, you could argue, is a bit better of a dragon taker than a Zach. Obviously, the way that smites work in League, that after you do the smite quest, you're both having a 900 smite, no matter what level you are. But there is still an advantage in some areas. Meanwhile, they are getting caught. Not great by Xerath there. He is going to go down very easily, but there we go. There are still advantages to having smite on certain champions, and that is if you are a execute champion. Lee Sin, his Q is an execute. It does more damage something the lower health something is. So if you time your Q with your smite, you can execute pretty easily. So, the enemy team looking for Baron. Camille goes for a very aggressive flash play. Doesn't actually get anything from it. Riven going to go aggressive. Exhaust as well. Swain, he's coming in. Lee Sin came on the back. Camille is just playing with the Ezreal, who can just kite him like forever. Zac getting this Swain, because again, Zac damage is way too high than it should be, but he will go down with his passive in the area, and Camille's made her way over here, by the way. So they will get that, and now, boom, that's going to be a Baron take for blue team. And as I've always said to you guys, Baron loses more games than it wins. Like, literally. If red team, they got a nice pick on Xerath, what they should have done is actually look for a proper team fight while having the number advantage. But you have some people doing Baron, some people running away. You're all splitting. Your number advantage means nothing. So that was just a big mistake for red team to actually do that Baron or try to start that Baron. Xerath did respawn, by the way, in time for it. So obviously that's just, you know, a mistake that we can point out. Positioning. Don't put yourself at risk when you're a Xerath. If you're a low-range mage or a low-range champion, yeah, you could argue that, oh, you have to be in short proximity because that's what your champion is. You're a Xerath. You should be way, way back and not really getting caught. So that is just obviously worth knowing. That's just a positional thing. But again, we are obviously in this series going to be nitpicking mistakes because that's kind of the point. Overall, this Xerath is pretty good. And there's, you know, the passive use has been better. They were buying sustain in lane phase. Skill shots have been pretty good. Yes, I'd say the ulti could be arguably improved a little bit. And maybe this player would benefit of, again, adapting the more fast-paced ulti use that more, you know, the better Xerath players have picked up of recent years. And I will also say, when I said in episode 1, is there any known Xerath players that you guys want me to feature in this series? I believe the player is called Zwag or something like that. A lot of people saying, please do that guy. I think he's a challenger player in North America. So yeah, I will be featuring him when we get up to the challenger episode, if he's arguably the most known Xerath player. Meanwhile, Zac getting caught. Here we go. Again, not the best ulti from the Xerath, and that does seem to be the kind of running trend. Red team bot lane, I don't know why. Oh, Xerath got... Wait, hang on. He got a Camille. Was Camille fighting the Ezreal? Let's see. Okay, so Camille's waiting in the bush, tries to kill the Ezreal. So Xerath ults over there and then comes over and ults. Oh, wow, saves the Ezreal, arguably. So that was good. Good save there. Nice to have the kind of response to be like, oh, I'm ulting for the Zac. Oh, God, my Ezreal needs help. I'll ult over there instead. So that's good. Good response time to different scenarios. Lovely Q. So that's it. Half health with 1 Q. That is the power of Xerath. And arguably, you know, Xerath has only got 2.5 items complete here. He'd get stronger and stronger as late game would happen. Swain W, nice to land that. He is... Oh, Swain flash. That was weird. And they're going to probably break open the base. Ezreal with his weird split-pushing playstyle. And I'll say this Ezreal's very lucky that he's had the Riven, Lee Sin, and Xerath this game, because this split-pushing playstyle that this Ezreal has had easily could have lost them the game, because blue team, for the most part, has not had an AD carry this game. But luckily, they are doing well where it matters, which, you know, a lot of it is jungle. But they're going to probably go back, quick base with the Baron. And does Xerath has enough gold? He should have for the death cap, I presume. Yep, so he's going death cap third. Again, pretty standard Xerath build intertwined with the Seraphs. So it has 639 ability power at 28 minutes. That's pretty good. If you're wondering, by the way, I haven't gone over the runes. Arcane Comet, standard. Mana Flow Band, standard. It just helps, obviously, mana restore on Xerath. And obviously, if you are a Seraph's user, Mana Flow gives you mana, so it kind of has a nice synergy there. Transcendence, that's what you probably should be taking on Xerath in most matchups. Some matchups you can take Scorch if you think you can get away with killing them in lane phase, but most of the time you're not. Oh, wait, I'm a dub. He did take Scorch. Oh, wait, what am I thinking of? Oh, I'm thinking of Gathering Storm. I was going to say, most matchups you should take Gathering Storm because you're a mid to late game massive AP champion, but if you think you can kill people, Scorch. So this Xerath probably did have the confidence, I can kill the Annie, so he has gone Scorch. Transcendence, sorry, is the kind of standard thing on Xerath in that tier. And then has gone Precision. Meanwhile, Jinx going a little bit over-aggressive, bit confident there, I think. Presence of Mind, there she gets killed. Weird confidence by the Jinx, I would say. Maybe, you know, she's a bit frustrated. I was really fed in lane phase and I've kind of stopped doing too much. Meanwhile, Riven going a little bit crazy, but look at her healing. She's not going to die. She's returning the damage, and Zac will go down again. And also Presence of Mind, Coup de Grace, and ability power, magic resist. So pretty standard, nothing out of the ordinary. Look at the Gore Drinker heal, by the way. And Q by Xerath into the helpfully Sin over on the Camille, and that is most likely going to be the game. So arguably the Xerath had a bit of a free lane phase this game, laning against this Annie. She had a bit of an odd playstyle. Again, still has a Magi with 0 stacks on it, so I don't know why she still's got that. But overall, pretty good Xerath. Yeah, I would probably say around the platinum level. Farm was good, passive use was good, skill shot use was okay. Some nice reaction in his stuns here or there. The biggest thing that I would probably say is, again, we've said it multiple times, is the ulti. The ulti wasn't the most accurate out of all the skill shots. And I think sometimes the Xerath was overthinking it of pressing R, and that actually led it to be too slow to actually, you know, hit the target. But overall, not bad. If, you know, clearly a pretty good Xerath player as it happens. And that was good to see. So if you guys enjoyed part 2 or episode 2 of the Champions Climb featuring Xerath, throw a like on the video. The next episode, which will be coming out in the next few days, will most likely be the Diamond episode featuring me, Huzzy Games. So again, we'll do that, and I'll be critical about my own Xerath. So yeah, I guess, like, I don't know whether, let me know in the comments, because this video is going to come out tonight. Let me know if you want that as a live commentary version of the Champions Climb, that I do a live commentary while talking through really critical of myself while playing live, or would you prefer it in this format that I just play the game and then I do a replay of the match? Let me know down below, because that would probably help me to decide what I want to do. But yeah, that's going to be it. If you guys enjoy, like it, comment, subscribe. See you guys next time. Peace.